When you think about the most revolutionary pieces of technology, your mind probably jumps to the smartphone, maybe the internet. But what if I told you one of the most powerful tools ever invented is that simple grid of boxes you use for everything from a personal budget to running a global company? Today, we're diving into the story of that unassuming hero, the spreadsheet. To really get why this tool is such a big deal, we have to go back in time. Just picture it, the 1970s. An office, desks just buried under mountains of paper ledgers. The whole place probably smelled like ink and stress. And if you made one single mistake, one wrong number, you'd have to spend hours, maybe days, manually recalculating everything. It was tedious, and the stakes were incredibly high. And this is the jump, right here. It's not just a small step forward, it's a massive leap. We went from these static, fragile paper systems to a living, dynamic digital grid. It wasn't just about being faster, it was about a whole new level of power and accuracy. Shifting from all that manual work to instant automation, well, it completely changed the way business got done. So, where did this all come from? The story of the spreadsheet is totally intertwined with the story of the personal computer. You really can't tell one without the other. They kind of grew up together, and each one made the other more powerful. Let's take a look at how we got from these room-sized mainframe computers to the software that's on your desktop right now. It all started way back in '69 with a program called LANPAR, which ran on those giant mainframes. But the real spark, the thing that lit the fire, was VisiCalc in 1979. People call it the first killer app because it was so useful, so revolutionary that people went out and bought an entire computer, the Apple II, just so they could run this one program. That's when PCs stopped being a hobby and started being a serious tool for business. Then Lotus 123 came along and added things like graphing. But it was Microsoft Excel in '85 that gave us that graphical, user-friendly feel that we all recognize today. Okay, so we've got the history down. But what actually is a spreadsheet when you break it all down? At its core, it's really just a digital ledger, but a ledger with some serious superpowers. So let's pop the hood and see how it works. So yeah, at its simplest, it's just a grid, rows and columns. But the real magic is inside those little boxes, the cells. You can think of every single cell as a tiny little calculator just waiting for your instructions. You can pop in numbers, text, or, and this is the key, formulas. The second you do that, the whole grid just comes alive. And the organization is super logical. The whole file is called a workbook. Inside that workbook, you can have lots of different pages, or worksheets. Each sheet is made of vertical columns, A, B, C, and horizontal rows, 1, 2, 3. And where a column and a row meet, you get a cell. Each one has a unique address, like A1 or C10. This simple address system is the secret to everything you can do in a spreadsheet. All right, now we get to the really good stuff, the automation. This is what turns that static grid of boxes into a dynamic, powerful tool. Formulas are the secret sauce, so let's unlock those superpowers. And believe it or not, it all begins with just one character, the equal sign. The moment you type an equal sign into a cell, you're sending a signal. You're telling a spreadsheet, hey, wake up. Don't treat this like normal text. It's time to do some math. It's the trigger that unleashes all the power. And these right here are the essentials, your starter pack for automation. You need to add up a column of sales figures? That's equals sum. Need to find the average score on a test? Equals average. And if you want to instantly find the highest or lowest number in a huge list, equals max and equals min are your new best friends. These simple commands are absolute workhorses. Okay, so basic calculations are awesome. But what if you need your spreadsheet to do more? What if you need it to, think, to actually make a decision for you? Well, that's where the if function comes in. This is how you give your spreadsheet a brain. And the logic is actually pretty simple. It's just 3 parts. First, you give it a test, which is just a question that can be true or false, like, is this grade higher than 60? Then, you tell it what to do if the answer is true. In this case, display the word pass. And finally, you tell it what to do if the answer is false. Display fail. And just like that, your spreadsheet is making decisions all by itself. So, you've got your data organized, you've got your formulas working their magic. What's the end game here? The whole point is to turn that giant pile of numbers into something that actually helps you make a smart decision. It's about getting your data to tell you a story. So imagine you're a manager. You have this long list of your salespeople and all their sales numbers for the quarter. To answer this simple question, you'd have to scan down that whole list, maybe even miss something. It's slow, it's manual, there has to be a better way. And boom, there it is. In just a couple of clicks, that boring list of numbers becomes a super clear bar chart. You don't have to read anything. Your eyes just go straight to the tallest bar. Jane Doe is the top performer. It's instant. That's the power of visualization. It turns data into insight in the blink of an eye. Okay, let's try another one. This is a classic. You have a marketing budget, and it's split up a bunch of different ways. How do you get a quick feel for where the big chunks of money are actually going? A donut chart like this makes it ridiculously easy. Right away, you can see that almost half of your entire budget is going into social media. A simple visual tells a much clearer story than a list of percentages ever could. Now, charts are great for the big picture, but sometimes you need to find the important stuff right there in the grid. You need a way to make the critical information jump out at you without having to build a whole separate chart. So take a look at this list of projects. To figure out what's in trouble, you have to read every single line looking for the word overdue. With 4 items, it's not so bad. But imagine this list had 400 items. It would be a nightmare. And here's the fix. With one simple rule, if a cell says overdue, make it red, the whole table changes. This is called conditional formatting, and it's like a built-in alarm system for your data. Your brain doesn't have to search anymore, your eyes are just drawn right to the problems. It's a game changer. It's pretty amazing when you think about it. From VisiCalc on an early Apple computer to the crazy powerful AI-infused spreadsheets we use in the cloud today, the tool has evolved so much. But its main job, to bring order and insight to our data, that hasn't changed at all. And it's more important now than ever. And if you need any proof of just how important it is, just look at this number. Over 1 billion users worldwide. That's what, like 1 out of every 8 people on the entire planet? For a piece of software, that is absolutely staggering. It's become a universal language for working with numbers. So, it's pretty clear this humble grid of rows and columns literally changed the world. It put the power of data analysis into the hands of pretty much everyone. The big question now is, what's next? In a world of artificial intelligence and massive data sets, how is our unassuming hero going to evolve? What does the spreadsheet look like 50 years from now?